Friends from the press, good afternoon. Welcome to the regular press conference of the Foreign Ministry. Now, I'd like to take your questions. Shenzhen TV. Competent department announced a visa-free policy for tourist groups from ASEAN countries visiting Xishuangbanna in Yunnan, which took effect from February 10th. Figures show that China received more than 3.43 million inbound tourists from 175 countries and regions during the Spring Festival holiday this year, up by 6.2% year-on-year. Commentators attributed the phenomenon to the policies that China has rolled out to facilitate cross-border travel. What's your comment, and does China plan to introduce more steps to promote inbound travel? Today is the Chinese traditional festival, the Lantern Festival, and I want to wish all of you and your family happiness, great health, and auspiciousness. Having first-hand experience of Chinese folk custom in Chinese seem to have become quite trendy during this year's Spring Festival, and the Chinese people welcome foreign visitors with warm hospitality. Top destinations in China have enabled foreign tourists to make mobile payments smoothly and conveniently. Latest data show that during the Spring Festival holiday, the total number of transactions made by international tourists that were processed by China UnionPay and the Net Union Clearing Corporation increased by 124.54% year-on-year, and the total transaction value grew by 90.49%. Localities and departments in China also roll out facilitating measures in the culture and tourism sector in an effort to support the visa-free policies, such as higher clearance efficiency, more convenient language services, better accommodation, catering, sightseeing, and other services throughout the traveler's journey, and the pilot Buy Now, Refund Now service for efficient full departure tax refunds. From online services to brick-and-mortar stores, from customs counter to store counter, the smooth travel experience everywhere and anytime in China has made foreigners feel like home and helped them see an open, confident, culturally advanced, and safe and secure China. The latest policies, including the 110-plus steps in facilitating cross-border travel, unilateral visa-free policy for 38 countries, and 340-hour visa-free transit, speak to China's firm commitment to high-standard opening up and serve as China's concrete steps in building an open-world economy. Looking forward, China will continue its effort of improving inbound travel policies and putting more countries on the visa-free list, and present a credible, amicable, and a respectable image of China to foreign friends. Next one, please.
President Xi Jinping's special representative, member of the political bureau of the CPC Central Committee, and Vice Premier Zhang Guoqing attended the AI Action Summit in France. Could you share more information with us? From February 10 to 11, President Xi Jinping's special representative, Vice Premier Zhang Guoqing, attended the Artificial Intelligence Action Summit in France. In his address, Vice Premier Zhang stressed that President Xi Jinping put forward the Global Initiative for AI Governance, which contributed China's solution and wisdom for the major question of our times. The international community should work together to advocate AI for good, deepen cooperation on innovation, strengthen inclusive development for the benefit of all, improve global governance, and build a community with a shared future for mankind. Participants praised China's progress, principles of governance, and major initiatives and measures in AI. The summit released an outcome document, the Statement on Inclusive and Sustainable Artificial Intelligence for People and the Planet, and spoke highly of China's effort in the adoption of the resolution entitled Enhancing International Cooperation on Capacity Building of AI at the UN General Assembly, and mentioned the 2025 World AI Conference to be hosted by China as an AI milestone. China's signing of the document shows our positive commitment toward global governance of AI. China will continue to follow the principle of wide consultation, joint contribution, and shared benefits to strengthen exchanges and cooperation with others, develop AI for global good of humanity. 我想再问一下，美国副总统万斯在参加人工智能这次会议的时候，还提到说，威权主义的国家正在利用人工智能技术来推进自己的目的。你对此有何回应？
I've made clear the situation of our participation in the summit. About AI cooperation, we've stressed multiple times China positively embraces technological transformation and promotes innovative development of artificial intelligence. We attach importance to the safety of AI, supports and encourages innovation of companies. We also promotes the universally beneficial development of AI, help developing countries strengthen capacity building, and promotes the accessibility of artificial intelligence and advocate the open source technology of AI. In the meanwhile, we oppose drawing ideological lines over turning economic and trade issues into politics. Next one, please.
Our media network, U.S. President Donald Trump continues to say that
伊拉克如道电视台，美国总统特朗普持续表示，他会阻止巴勒斯坦人返回加沙的飞地，不会让他们要让他们迁走。另外，你认为中国对特朗普关税的回应如何产生对美国的影响？
On your first question, Gaza belongs to Palestinians. It is an inalienable part of the territory of Palestine. China firmly supports the legitimate national rights of the Palestinian people. We always believe that Palestinians governing Palestine is an important principle that must be upheld in post-conflict governance of Gaza. We oppose the forced displacement of people in Gaza. Amid current circumstances, international community, particularly major countries, should play a constructive role for the implementation of the Gaza ceasefire deal and promote the humanitarian reconstruction and assistance in Gaza. On the second question concerning tariffs, we believe that protectionism leads nowhere. Trade and tariff wars have no winners. This has become a prevailing consensus of the international community. What the U.S. has done severely violated WTO rules, severely undermines the rules-based multilateral trading system. It will not help solve its own problems. Next one, please. Hubei TV. According to recent U.S. media reports, the U.S. Agency for International Development used U.S. taxpayers' money to fund gain-of-function studies at China's Wuhan Institute of Virology, which may have caused the COVID-19 pandemic, leading to the deaths of millions around the world. What's China's comment? China has repeatedly stated its position on the origins tracing of COVID-19. Origins tracing is a matter of science, and any judgment on it should be made in a science-based spirit and by scientists. It is extremely unlikely that the pandemic was caused by a lab leak. This is the authoritative conclusion reached by the experts of the WHO China Joint Mission based on science following their field trips to the lab in Wuhan and in-depth communication with researchers. The conclusion has been widely acknowledged by the international community, including the science community. China has made it clear that the Wuhan Institute of Virology has never engaged in gain-of-function studies of coronavirus, never has it designed, made, or leaked COVID-19. On the origins tracing of the virus, China firmly opposes all forms of political manipulation. The U.S. needs to take a hard look at itself rather than shirk responsibilities to others. Next one, please. CCTV. Recently, Philippine leader said that he doesn't understand China's comments on the missile system in the Philippines. He said, "We don't make any comments on their missile systems, and their missile systems are 1,000 times more powerful than what we have." He also offered to remove the U.S.-made Typhoon missile system from his country if China ceases its aggressive and coercive behavior in the South China Sea. Philippine Defense Secretary Gilberto says that the Philippines plans to acquire its own mid-range missile system, and they have the right to field these deterrent capabilities, was China's comment. Regarding the U.S. deployment of mid-range capability missile system in the Philippines, China has made clear the grave harm of such deployment and stated our firm opposition to it on multiple occasions. On this issue, the Philippines has gone back on its words again and again. The Philippines has explained itself multiple times regarding the introduction of the Typhoon system, pledging that the deployment was temporary and that the system will be shipped out of the country after relevant military exercises. However, it has breached such commitments, claiming they would acquire its own mid-range system and field these deterrent capabilities, and linking the South China Sea issue with the Typhoon system. This is not only ridiculous but also extremely dangerous. As is widely known, Typhoon mid-range capability missile system is a strategic offensive weapon which puts a large number of Southeast Asian countries within its range. The U.S. deployment of its system in the Philippines severely damages peace and stability in the region and harms the legitimate security interests of other countries. The Philippines has worked with the U.S. to bring in the Typhoon system. Its place its national security and defense in the hands of others, and introducing geopolitical confrontation and risk of arms race into the region, which does no one good. China will not sit idly by when its security interests are harmed or threatened. Countries in the region will by no means accept the move that goes against the trend of the times. We call on the Philippines to change its course and make a strategic choice that indeed serves the fundamental interest of itself and its people. It should not continue its wrongdoings in the Typhoon system and other issues, which will shoot itself in the foot. Next one, please.
2 U.S. ships sailed through the Taiwan Strait.
本周2艘美国军舰过航台湾海峡，是特朗普上台后首次过航。你对此有何评论？
The PLA Eastern Theater has made response. Let me stress that Taiwan is an inalienable part of China's territory. Taiwan question is not a question about freedom of navigation, but concerning China's sovereignty and territorial integrity. China firmly opposes the attempts of any country to threaten or provocate China's sovereignty and security in the name of navigation freedom. Next one, please.
Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos.
菲律宾总统马克思在参议院候选人竞选期间批评中国，说没有一位候选人在听到菲方的船只被中国水炮击中后还会鼓掌欢呼。中方对此有何评论？
I would like to frame my answer in the same way. Non-Chinese would agree that when the Philippines infringes on China's sovereignty and make provocations, we do not respond in a lawful and a legitimate manner. China always opposes using the South China Sea issue for political manipulation. Next one, please.
Cue the news. According to reports, the defense ministers of the US and Japan will have talks in Japan in late March, and one of the topics to be discussed is the Taiwan question. Will this impact Foreign Minister Wang Yi's upcoming visit to Japan?
日前， 美日发表联合声。
The U.S. and Japan issued a joint statement finding fault with Taiwan-related issue interfering in China's sovereignty. China deplores and firmly against this. Taiwan question is purely China's domestic affair. It is the core interests, at the core of China's core interests, and brooks no external interference. The U.S. and Japanese governments have made solemn pledges on Taiwan question, particularly Japan has severe responsibilities on this and should all the more act prudently. We urge the U.S. and Japan to abide by the One China principle and its own commitments and immediately stop interference in China's internal affairs and manipulate Taiwan-related issues. On the visit you mentioned, I have no information to provide now. Next one, please.
It seems there is another historic sensation.
在中国深度求索引发轰动之后，本周中国的电影《哪吒》又开始在北美放映了。这部电影的票房已经破纪录了，超过了10亿美元。在全球背景下，这有何意义？
您看
Excuse me, sorry.
Did you see the movie?
Oh, not yet. Yeah, but you are viewing the reviews so
Okay.
far. Yeah.
Now it's a good time.
Thank you.
For Chinese cinema, this year's Spring Festival box office has indeed been witnessing new record highs. Multiple Chinese films are shown at home and abroad simultaneously. Some of them even top the local non-English film box office chart. Those Chinese big hits are becoming new bridges for cultural exchanges between China and the world and a new window on China for the world. I think it's because that China deeply values mutual learning and exchanges between cultures. It also shows that amid globalization, all countries can achieve common development in an open and win-win cooperation environment. I also want to stress that in a world where countries share an interconnected future, cultural exchange and mutual learning is increasingly becoming a bridge for friendship, a driving force of human progress, and a bond holding together world peace. China will continue working with the rest of the world to implement global civilization initiative and for more inter-civilization dialogue and contribute to global cultural diversity. Next one, please.
The Trump administration has started referring to the Gulf of
特朗普政府现在开始把墨西哥湾称作美国湾，中方是否会改变对这个地方的称谓，也像美方一样称呼呢？
注意到
We noted relevant reports and response from relevant countries. In international relations, it's China's consistent position to oppose hegemonic, domineering, and bullying acts. Next one, please.
Thank you, AFP. I just wondered if you could give us any more information on the visit by the Prime Minister of the Cook Islands.
您能否介绍一下库克群岛总理的访华和双方可能签署的合作协定？
我已经多次
For the past 2 days, I've answered the question multiple times. On your question, we will release information in due course. Please stay tuned. Next one, please. Any other questions? If no, that will be the end of today's press conference. Thank you for coming.